7 years ago, the thrill of trading began for me. I remember I first got into CFDs and Forex. The first thing I ever traded was oil. I don't know why, I just gravitated towards it. Anyway, I'd put $150 into a personal brokerage account, I think with IG Markets or whatever at the time. And I put $150 in. I sat down. I was in the bathroom, sitting down on my phone, and I clicked on oil, and I made a short trade on oil. And I'd gone. I didn't even know what the units meant. I didn't know what leverage was. I didn't know what the lot size meant. I just put on a trade until it allowed me to place the order, and I went short. And in like 2 minutes, I made $80 and closed the trade. And I was like, wow, I work a job right now that makes $25 an hour, and I just made $80 in 2 minutes. Are you kidding me? And I started doing the math in my head, like, man, if I can do this, I mean, I'm not going to need this job sometime soon. That was 7 years ago, right? I was brand new to trading, but that's what hooked me in. I was hooked, and that's where my trading journey began. And for a little while at the beginning there, that was all I did. I had no strategy. I didn't really bother to look anything up. It was just something I did after work. I would sit down on my phone. I would click around until I make some money or lose some money, and every day it was just like a little gamble, a little game for me. So I really wasn't taking it so seriously in the beginning. A little context for me at the time. I was dirt poor. Okay, I had no business doing this. I was dirt poor, working an entry-level sales job, and I lived in the ghetto part of town, right? So I wasn't having a particularly great life at the time. Um, anyway, I do this for a little while, and I start going through the inevitable losing streak because you can't get by without a proper strategy or framework, right? So I end up going in and doing a bit of research on a few YouTubers and learning some strategies. And these are your classic, Forex YouTubers just teaching the same old support and resistance. It's fine. Bollinger Bands. There was some strategy at the time that I tried called the alligator out of water strategy, where you have a few SMAs cross, and because of the color, it looked like an alligator coming out of the water. And that's when you buy, all these random different strategies. I tried these for a few years, had some success here and there, but mostly lost, of course, right? And I did that for a little while until COVID hit, and this is then where I started to get even more into trading. COVID comes by. We have the lockdowns, right? Here in New Zealand, we were locked inside, working from home full time, and I decided, okay, I'm going to take this a little more seriously. I start looking into trading gold. So I'm in the gold market, CFD Forex gold market, and I catch a major bull run. All right, you guys remember the 2020 gold bull run was insane. I caught the bull run from very low, and I turned a very small account. It was probably like $300 at the time. Went into almost 7K, and I thought I was a genius. I thought I cracked it. Uh, and next day, after that big winning trade, next day, I torched the whole thing. It's all gone. Like I went down to negative margin because I thought I could repeat that. I thought I was a genius. I made a real good amount of cash at the time that could have, at the time, changed my life. Paid off a lot of debt I had. I was $70,000 in debt at this time as well, consumer debt. Anyway, I torched that amount the next day. Gold teared me a new one. That money disappeared as quicker than I made it. And that hurt, man. I didn't trade gold for years because of that exact story, right? So that happens around the COVID time. I take a little break from trading after that. I was mentally like, damn, it gives and it takes, and it takes too much, and instead of looking inwards and thinking that was my issue or my problem with risk management or lack of strategy, I just was like, it's a scam. I just dismissed it for a little while. So that happens. Then, 6 months later or so, I eventually come back around to it. Like I said, I'm dirt poor at this time, $70,000 in debt, newly married, and yeah, we got no money, and I work a sales job while trying to also get a marketing business off the ground, and my wife's working full time as well, and we're just struggling to get by, right? So I come back to revisit trading. Not the greatest idea to do trading when you're that dirt poor and negative in net worth. Trading is normally not the answer, but I come back to it. I start practicing a little bit, and I learn about a place called FTMO at the time. You guys know FTMO. a funding firm in the CFD and Forex space. And, this was all new to me, these prop firms at the time. And I thought, wow, you can pay for my currency, New Zealand dollars. It was just over $1,000, I think, for their 100K account. And I thought, wow, you can pay $1,000. And if I pass this, we then get $100,000. And all I have to do is make 6% a month, and then we can quit our jobs. That's my thinking, right? So anyway, my all-loving, supporting wife, and I always say to you boys, find the most supportive woman you can and lock her down forever, because my wife has been behind all the best things in my life that's happened to me, supported every single idea, every single ambition I've had, has been 100% behind it and backed it. My wife at the time, we had a she had a $5,000 credit card that we certainly couldn't afford, but she had it. It was all paid off, just sitting there. And she said, well, why don't you try these accounts? Use my credit card. I have faith you can do this. Use my credit card and, get these FTMO funded accounts. I believe in you, basically. So I'm like, wow, yeah, let's do it. I get these FTMO funded accounts. Within the week, I've blown all 5. That whole credit card is shelled out, right? I've blown those FTMO accounts. Now we're $5,000 in debt. Already 70K in debt. Make that 75K now. Can't afford the repayments. And I've just torched an opportunity because I had no strategy. I had no emotional or risk control. And I was trading from a place of scarcity. And man, from that point was like one of the lowest moments of my trading career, or of my adult life. One of the lowest moments. Someone who is so willing to support you, offering something that they couldn't afford, that we couldn't afford, because she believed in you so much. And I toasted that within a few days. I'm not afraid to say I was in tears. I was crying on the kitchen floor, having a full-on mental breakdown, dude. That was one of the worst moments of my life when that last account went through, invalidated, and was blown. Not good, man. One of the worst moments. And that was another moment for me in the last 7 years where I took a pause from trading. I was like, this is not going to work. It's not for me. So I walk away, but only for a few months, right? This is the thing. I keep coming back. I'm the type of when there's something I enjoy or something I like or something I'm interested in, no matter how I justify it, I always come back. So a few months later, I come back after the damage, the dust is settled. I mean, not really, 75K in debt now, but the dust had settled emotionally for me. Then I come back and I discover this guy called ICT. Now, if you're new to this channel, I don't trade ICT anymore, okay? I'm not an ICT trader. I don't believe in his stuff at all, okay? But at the time, I discover ICT and his videos. I start watching this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I want to blow my brains out listening to his videos. They're long. He rambles. He never gets to the point. Whatever. But I still sit through them for whatever reason. And what those ICT videos gave me, at least, gave me a bit of a process or a framework that I didn't otherwise have, right? Because all those times that I'd blown those accounts, blown that 5K, blowing that 7K from gold, all those times was mainly due to a lack of process, right? So what the ICT stuff did for me is it gave me a framework to work upon. It gave me a kind of set of rules to work from and allowed me to then trade, not willy-nilly all the time, but have a framework to operate out of, okay? So I did this and I slowly worked on this. I studied this. I practiced this. I started to journal. I started to take things a bit more seriously. Mind you, just trading personal funds at this time, right? And just practicing. And I did this for 2 years, trading ICT, right? 2 years, one of which was documented on YouTube. And that's when I started my channel. The beginning of 2023, I started my channel, and that was my second year trading ICT. And, it did pretty well for me. It was all right. I was able to, make some money, and I was able to get some payouts and get funded a couple of times, and it did all right for me, right? This ICT stuff gave me something where I had nothing earlier. Alongside this, I was also developing my risk management skill and my emotional management skill, which is probably the most important part. Um, so I'm developing this at the same time. And then the thing with ICT, guys, is it gave me a framework, yes. It allowed me to get more green days and actually make some money here and there, yes. But the problem is, and this is a personal problem that I have with it, is there were a lot of red days. It was not a high win rate trading strategy or trading framework. There were a lot of red days, right? You say in any given week, if you guys remember my original streams from 2023, any given week, I could trade, out of 5 days, have 3 red days and 2 green days. And those green days either got me to break even from those red days or got me just a little bit in profit, a little bit in green, you know. Um, and that was most weeks, mostly red, and then those green days would almost make up for it, plus a little bit more, you know. And for me, that wasn't cracking it really for me. I mean, when you catch those good winners as an ICT trader, it feels good, right? Because you're catching good R, good risk to reward, and yeah, they can be pretty good trades. But losing so frequently just wasn't doing me any good. Not only that, but the more I became experienced in my trading journey, the more I realized how much shit ICT talks, right? It's just a lot of it's conspiracy nonsense, and a lot of the things he teaches make no logical sense, which we'll get to soon. But just to give you my input on how I was feeling at the time, I was starting to feel a little shift again, like, okay, this is somewhat working, and it's working well enough, right? If you can take payouts and pay yourself from your personal account, it's working well enough, better than most people. But something still wasn't sitting right with me. Anyways, I obviously have started my YouTube channel at this point, and I am then begin working with TopStep, right? Futures funding firm. You guys know them well by now. I partner with TopStep, begin working with them. They start TopStep TV. I go on TopStep TV and trade with these guys live once a week at the time. And they're starting to talk about all these things like order flow and level 2 data and volume. And I had no idea what they're talking about. I'm just sitting here trading my fair value gaps or whatever. I had no idea what they're talking about. And anyway, it piques my interest. I'm like, okay, these guys all talk about this. I need to know more about what this stuff is. And mind you guys, I'm coming from Forex and CFDs over to futures at this time. So I don't know what level 2 data, what volume profiles, what order flow. I don't know what these things are because we don't talk about this in the Forex space. So coming to futures, now hearing this new lingo and seeing these new tools and the way the futures market works, it's all new to me. So my interest is piqued here, right? I go and I start to dig a bit deeper into order flow. I look online, I learn a little bit from YouTube for free. Shout out to Jigsaw Day Trader for their free content on YouTube, Fat Cats of Wall Street, and Axia Futures. All of them had great free content on order flow on YouTube, and Gary Norton as well. That's another one. I dig a little bit deeper. I end up taking quite a few order flow mentorships. This is the beginning of last year now. I take a lot of order flow mentorships. I learn as much as I can from all these different mentors, and I immediately, it clicks with me. Like, this is what, when I'm watching ICT videos in the past, some things would make sense, but a lot of it, like, okay, how do you know this? This sounds like nonsense. Where is this coming from? You're pulling this out of your ass. When I'm looking at people teaching order flow and they're teaching based on data and stats that they can show you, right? There's information that backs up what they're saying in the order flow, in the charts, in the level 2 data. You can see what they're talking about. There's no conspiracy at all, okay? So this level 2 data, this order flow stuff, it clicks with me almost immediately, and I'm sold. You guys remember at this point on my channel, I put up the video saying I'm not trading ICT anymore. Because once I learned about this stuff, it made no sense to trade ICT anymore. It contradicted so much of it. So much of what ICT taught doesn't even apply, right? He's teaching so many wrong things to all these poor retail traders that never learn how the market really moves. They never learn what real order flow is. They never learn how to use volume. You're essentially just learning how to trade candlestick patterns. You are still, he makes fun of retail all the time. Retail traders this, retail traders this. He is the epitome of retail, right? And that's what he's teaching all these people. So level 2, order flow, it clicks for me. I go deep, right? And I start putting this stuff into practice. I take all these different mentorships and I learn from these different mentors their way of trading order flow. I traded Gary Norton's way. I traded John Grady from No BS Day Trading, traded his way for a while. I traded some of the strategies they teach in Axia Futures for a while. I try all these different things to see what resonates with me with order flow, okay? And ultimately, what I came to was the volume profile. That's what resonated with me the most. Volume profile plus order flow, right? And that's what resonated with me the most in the end. It made the most sense and it worked with my mental the most. So I put this into play and I start to develop my own strategy out of volume profile. I am forward testing things, doing a little bit of back testing, but mainly forward testing things and making notes, keeping constant records of the volume profile, how price reacts to certain volume profile levels, what different volume profiles mean. I start to learn about auction market theory, right? These types of things, it all clicks into place. This is the closest thing ever to an epiphany moment I've ever had in trading, was learning order flow and the volume profile. That was my biggest epiphany moment ever. And from that point, my trading flourished. Like I said, I already was having somewhat all right success with ICT stuff. I switched to volume order flow. My trading flourishes. Last year was my best trading year I've ever had. The most amount of money I've taken out of the markets last year is thanks to order flow and volume profile. And this year we're off to a hot start. This year, last year I spent a lot of time on my personal accounts, putting this stuff into practice and just trading away, in private. This year, obviously, I've come back to streaming, trading the top step accounts properly, and it's only been 3 weeks of me trading with Top Step again this year properly, and I'm about to request another 3K payout today. So far in 3 weeks, we're requesting 9,000 USD out of the Top Step funded accounts. So it's not huge numbers like you're seeing these guys who copy trade 20 accounts getting, because I'm just trading 3 funded accounts at the moment. It's not huge, but hey, that's bloody good. And that's only from a few weeks, and we're just trading fairly normally. It's going well. It's going really well. And volume profile last year went really well. This year I'm sharing those results with the top step accounts, and that's going really well. And like I said, all of this is credited to trading volume profile and order flow. And to the last point I mentioned about ICT having mostly red days and only a couple of green days every week. Now with order flow, we're having like mostly green days. I've had 2 red days in the last 3 weeks, on the main funded account compared to how things used to be. This is how my tradings look. If you follow my daily email as well, last year I was sharing a lot of my personal account trades. You will see also very rare to have a red day. I was having mostly green days. They're smaller, but they're mostly, the win rate's high. And for me, that makes a big difference as a trader to have more winning days, even if they're just smaller one-to-one base hits day after day. That works better for me long term. That works for my psychology, and that's what I've been doing. And that's all thanks to order flow and volume profile. So that's how my trading journey has gone so far, right? This is 7 years deep. It has become a good source of income for me. It makes more than a full-time living for me, whereas in the past it had been, just a little bit of side cash. Trading now makes more than a full-time income. It's not my main source of income, but it's more than a full-time income. And that's something that I am proud to say now, 7 years deep, that it's been very consistent, and that's all lines up perfectly with that change to volume profile trading and order flow trading. So I wanted to share that with you guys because the trading journey is tough, and it's easy to get lost and feel lost amongst all the nonsense on YouTube and just there's so much nonsense out there. It's so hard to find out what's true and what really works. So I just wanted to share my real experience in the last 7 years with you and what's worked for me versus what's not so much worked. So make your own decisions, but if this story in any way resonates with you and you're feeling lost, I just implore you to look into order flow and look into volume-based analysis and see if it resonates with you, see if it clicks like it did for me, and see if it makes a difference in your trading. I know a lot of people who watch and follow me have made the switch and are getting their first ever payouts. Like they're finally turning a leaf. And I'm getting those comments every day on stream and in the YouTube videos. So comment down below if you are one of those people. I'm obviously not trying to sell you into doing this. It's just something I believe for retail traders, the best edge we can have is to trade order flow and volume profile. Or order flow and volume, doesn't even have to be volume profile, just order flow and volume analysis is the best chance we have as retail traders at a long-term edge and actually taking money out of the markets. So I want to share, just to wrap up, the things I've learned, a few key points to share with you from the last 7 years that I need to relay to you that are not often talked about on YouTube. Number one, like I mentioned, order flow analysis and volume analysis is your best shot at long-term success as a retail trader, and I truly believe that. Number two, success in trading is hard, but it's simple. And what I mean by that is a lot of retail traders, especially ICT traders, tend to overcomplicate trading way more than it needs to be, right? Trading is, at the core of it, a pretty simple act. It's a coin flip, thing goes up, thing goes down, right? There's a lot of overcomplicating in the retail space from things like ICT, SMC, and all these, I don't know, you name a retail strategy you learn on YouTube. A lot of overcomplicating things. The best thing I ever did was learn all this order flow stuff, then strip away everything. Strip away everything till I found the simple thing that worked for me. That was volume profile, plus a little bit of order flow. Okay? So strip things down. Find what resonates with you and strip it right down. Make it simple. Make the decision-making process simple. Okay? And lastly, is that at the end of the day, discretion is your key to success as a profitable trader, not strategy itself, but discretion operating within a framework. Discretion, I parrot this over and over again, is your individual decision-making ability, your intuition, almost your gut instinct when trading. Discretion is that magic bullet. And the only way discretion can be developed is through spending time in front of a charts, reading the markets live within your trading work or within a trading framework, and building that, burning those things into your brain. What's happening? Learning when to spot fake outs, learning when to spot a real breakout, learning when to spot momentum, and learning when to take advantage of these opportunities. This all comes through your individual screen time. It's not something that can be taught, not something that can be transferred from one person to another. It must be put in from you yourself. Discretion. And the reason why new traders don't like to hear this is because new traders are always looking for that checklist or mechanical strategy. Because then if you lose some trades, you can blame it on the strategy. You can be like, oh, it's just the strategy that doesn't work. Whereas with discretion, if you lose, it's your fault. It's all on you. The responsibility is on you. And the thing there is that the mechanical strategy is not going to get you to where you think it's going to get you. A checklist strategy long-term is not going to work, right? You need to be able to build that discretionary ability and know when to execute, know when to hold back, when to close, all these things you must learn, develop that sixth market instinct, and put that into play in the markets. That is your best shot at trading success. Anyways, just a quick random ramble there I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope you guys found this useful, relatable, whatever. If you did, like the video, and I will be streaming every single day this year. At the moment, we're doing the New York sessions, and later on in March, we're going to start doing the London sessions. I'm going to be away for another week over in the islands, but other than that, you will see me live on stream. And if you want to follow my daily email, I send out my daily trade breakdowns there. That link is in the description. It's called the Order Flow Dude. Follow that. I send out my daily trade breakdowns plus my daily levels of interest. So if you're interested in that, interested to see how volume profile trading, order flow trading works for me, it's totally free. It's in the description. Check that out. Otherwise, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.